one. Welcome back to the NAO show. We have a jam-packed show for you. We're going to talk all trades that have happened in the last 48 hours in the NAO. We have had some doozies of a time, to say the least. As you can tell, we don't have that other guy in our show this week because he got real stinky, and we did not want to smell his ass anymore. But we got Marky Mark and we got Mike here, so we got the crew. How you guys doing today?
Ready to roll, man.
Doing all right, yeah.
Oh, well, shoot. Not like we traded fucking pastrami for apple juice over here.
Yeah, not happy.
Let's get going.
Not happy.
Not happy. He's not happy, Marky Mark. Let's start the show so he doesn't cut somebody. Come on.
All right. NAO Trade Show. Let's get right to it. All right. Our first trade was between Galvanized Blue Steel and the Silly Biscuit. So,
no, Mark. The name is
Two a Time.
Two a
Yeah.
Time. Thank you.
It's been a while, man. It's been a while.
Two a Time.
Can't believe that. Can we edit that out?
No, we can't.
So, Two a Time received Saquon Barkley. And
Boo!
the Silly Biscuits received DJ Moore, Michael Pittman, pick 11 in the 2021 draft, and a third rounder in 2022. Sean, will you start us off on your thoughts with this trade?
Well, first of all, I want to go on the record and say, why would we give Barkley to the guy that just won the league? Like, really? You just got Cam Akers, for God's sakes, you know? And besides that, I think the trade is pretty darn even. I love Pittman in Indianapolis. I think he is an up-and-coming wide receiver. Do not hold that against me. I will not overpay for him. And 21, the 11th pick in the second round, first pick in the second round, that's got Claypool value written all over it. What do you think there, Mike?
I think Claypool was a diamond in the rough, and I made one of the greatest picks of all time.
Excuse me.
If I do say so myself.
The real rookie of the year, Justin Jefferson, was picked at 7, okay? 7. 6 other
The real rookie of the year was picked in round 5.
No!
That he was. The league has spoken.
God, I hate this.
Any more thoughts on that one, Mike?
I think it's kind of interesting to see Saquon Barkley move without a first rounder in there, but
Interesting point.
Yeah, I think that would at least want to start there. Maybe move.
Where do you think the value came in, the difference of that?
I think it could have been a little bit of an Indy fan, a little homer Indy fan with Michael Pittman.
Ooh, okay.
Kind of thing.
You think he knows a little more than we know?
He's got there's some question marks at quarterback there. Obviously, they shored that up a little bit, but yeah, I probably would have. Well, they have one.
Yeah, they got somebody that's half the age of their old one that throws the football in a semi-straight angle.
He throws it at least normally. Yeah, I would have asked for first, maybe gotten some running back depth behind that, but yeah, I like it better on Ian's side, unfortunately.
Yeah, the hell with him. So what do you think about this with that team?
Yeah, that's something. That's something. So you got Saquon Barkley, Dalvin Cook as your starting running backs. So, I don't know why we let that happen.
I don't think tier 1 and tier 1.A is anything to bat an eye about. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, that is a good point. It kind of goes back to the Aaron Rodgers thing, but I think like you said, fairly even. I maybe would have done a little bit more finagling with a first rounder in there, and I would have liked it a little bit better, but
would you have gone more Pittman in a first instead of the 2022 third and the 11th pick?
Yeah, I don't know on that one. That would be kind of probably, actually.
Not even really depending on where the first round pick is. If it's mid to late first, I think you can still pull the trigger on that. What do you
I
think
like that
there,
a little
Marky
bit.
Mark?
Well, I talked to Josh after this trade. I told him I thought he was a piece shy on that one, and especially since Saquon, he's still in the top 5. If you look at dynasty rankings for most sites, he's still in the top 5. I'm seeing him 4 in a lot of places. If you're trading away a piece like that, the overpaying should be on the other side, not your side. And yeah, I mean, I like DJ Moore and Michael Pittman a lot. Pick 11's not a bad pick, and then I think that he should have gotten a running back, a first rounder, should have been part of it. So I had a pretty good difference on the calculator that I use, and it was equivalent to pick number 8 in this year's draft. So you think about who you can get at pick 8, and he ended up with a third rounder in 2022 instead. So yeah, Josh said that he was trying to get a running back, kicked into the deal, but Steele kind of stood his ground, so he went in and made a trade. That's one where I would have just walked away. I would have walked away from the table. Saquon he's a big asset in dynasty leagues. Even maybe Steele was whispering in his ear and saying, "Yeah, he's been injured and he's on
The
a
last 2
bad
years, he's
on
only
a
played
bad
like 7
offense.
games.
They were 31st in the league and blah blah blah. I'll take him off your
Involvement is really
hands.
good.
I'll do you a favor and I'll take him off your hands." Maybe he was doing a little bit of that Steele magic that he does.
Oh, the thing I love about that guy talking about trades, he's like, "Oh, your team needs this and needs this.
Yeah, let me
don't
tell you how
really
to fix
need
your
this.
team. And let me do you a favor, right? Yeah.
Let me just go ahead and take that off your hands
Yeah.
there, bud."
Yeah, I feel like Josh could have got a little bit more out of that, but yeah, so I won't really call it an even trade. I'll call it one that was just a little bit lacking. Good on Ian for getting Barkley on his squad. So
It's interesting I don't remember the full trade, but if I remember right, Josh paid kind of a pretty penny for Saquon and Cooper Kupp all in one trade. But
I think they had like 7 pieces involved.
yeah, Chris Godwin, I know he was involved.
Yeah.
But there was
on
some
that
good stuff.
trade there, Michael,
Leonard Fournette, I think.
he got Saquon Barkley and Kupp, and he traded away Tannehill, Lee, Howard, Fournette, Godwin, Lamb, and a 2021 second round pick.
Yeah. Well, look what he paid for Akers here recently, and Akers he's like I'm seeing him ranked about 14, 15 as far as dynasty assets. So
I think that goes up a little bit.
He overpaid pretty well just to get Akers, but he did hold Ian to the same for the number 4 asset. So yeah, it was a little odd to me because Josh is usually a little more shrewd than that. Feel like maybe he was a little too anxious to make a deal, not willing to walk away from the table.
The timing was interesting too. You hold them all season long and don't do anything with them, and then in the off season, between seasons, you kind of let them go a little cheap.
Yeah, I think he put him up on the block a couple of times, but
yeah,
no one was knocking on the door when he was on IR. So,
well, I think it's safe to say that Josh does know how to walk away from a table. Oh, all right. Next trade. Moving on.
My cousin, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Yeah. Next trade. Okay. Steele again. 2 a time received DJ Chark, and the Carsonists received in return pick number 17 in the 2021 draft and pick number 26 in the 2021 draft. Start us off again, Sean, if you will.
Well, my lovely fans, this trade actually took almost as long as the Michael Thomas trade. Not as long. I won't say it took as long, but it took very long. We got really in the weeds about that difference between the 14th pick and the 17th pick. Obviously, your boy wanted the 14th pick because it's Chark. Come on. But I kind of folded like a book and took the 17th pick. Now I got 2 second-round picks and 2 third-round picks. Hopefully, I can make them work out. What do you guys think, Michael?
Yeah, as you know, I like this one. I was a supporter of this one for you for a little bit, but I know that it was a little tough for you because I'm a little lower on Chark than you have been. The only tough part for me, even being a little lower on him, was the initial draft capital you put into him. I think you took him in like the 3rd round.
Yeah,
So it was a little tough to not get a decent return from that. But I think that it was an okay time to move on from Chark. And I think you got a decent return on it. I know 3 spots even in the 2nd round is tough to give up to, but in my opinion, it's a good time to move on from a guy like Chark. I think there's a lot of question marks in Jacksonville. You kind of chasing that 2019 season, but yeah, I like it for you. I know it was tough for you, but I'm a supporter of this one for you.
Well, I couldn't agree more. I did have a lot of draft capital into Chark, but I had to be realistic. I mean, a new head coach, a new offensive coordinator, a new probably rookie quarterback coming in. I mean, if Chark blew up this year, it's going to be a shot in the dark, to be honest with you. Because, I mean, they have a really good other wide receiver in Salute. I think that's how you pronounce his last name.
Sure.
Yeah, whatever. And you never know if the 2 real young guys are going to hook up and create a relationship, and that's going to be shown on the field. You never know. So
you just have to do your draft homework on your rookies here, and you can win this one pretty easy, I think.
Yep, I'm going to be copying off of Marky Mark's paper. Going to Marky Mark, how do you think about that?
Well, I hate to disagree with you guys, but
here we go.
Sometimes I think you got to be willing to walk away from the table.
Here we go.
I heard a wise man said that once.
Yeah, about 5 seconds ago. Rewind.
Sometimes you're just so anxious to make a trade, you're not willing to walk away from the table. Now, I feel like Chark still did halfway decent with pretty horrible quarterback play last year. Plus, he was injured a lot. You bring Trevor Lawrence in there. He's in a contract year. I feel like he can still do a little something there. He may not be there after this next season. So there's a little bit of question mark there as far as dynasty value. And, if he changes teams, maybe he takes a little step back before he gets some chemistry going. But I just feel like if they bring in Trevor Lawrence, like everybody thinks they're going to, and he can have a good bounce back season. So I feel like he's better than what you can get at those 2 picks. You may be able to hit on those picks, but 17 would be the one pick that maybe you could hit on and get somebody that'll take his place in the flex. But I don't see it. Right. I would have stuck with Chark or I would have got a little more out of him. So I don't love this one for you, cousin. I'm hoping that it goes well for you. I had you down by 622 points on the calculator. So it was pretty. I felt like she got another piece out of it. So I'm the negative Nelly right now, man.
Fine, be that way.
Both these trades, I'm like, I don't know. I'm looking at it. Yeah, hey, who knows? But hey, if you wanted to move on from him and you feel like you can get some value there, I wish you well. I'll be watching it closely, but I wish you well.
All right, on to the next one, I guess.
All right. Yeah, so the next one, Baba O'Reilly's received pick number 3 in the 2021 draft.
Why you got to say it like that?
Pick number 3 in the 2021 draft. And I don't know what we're calling them. Is it tight ends wins championships or defenses wins championships or
Browns running backs win championship?
Running back, that's right.
Running backs win championship.
Maybe that's it. Browns running backs wins championship.
That's my vote.
There you go. Because he received Kareem Hunt, pick number 21 in the 2021 draft, and a 2nd rounder in 2022. What do you think about that one, Sean?
Why is it always good? All right. First of all, I like this trade for both sides. First of all, like you get the 3rd overall pick. If you don't pick Jamar Chase, you're absolutely out of your darn mind. I am on the record. Jamar Chase is better than Justin Jefferson. On the record. Boom.
On the record. What college team do you like again?
I actually like LSU.
Mm-hmm.
Have you told Justin Jefferson that you think that yet?
No, I would never tell Justin Jefferson I thought that because I love that man. All right, so back to the trade. I think Kareem Hunt being paired with the Chubb-O-Matic, Nick Chubb. You like that? Chubb-O-Matic? That's what he said. And being on the same team makes total sense. Like, duh kind of move in any fantasy football at all. Like, yes. Plus, Hunt and Chubb could be played at the same time. So Hunt's not like your normal handcuff where you have to wait for your guy to go down for him to be worth starting. Heck no. Chubb can be your RB1. Kareem Hunt can be your flex 1, flex 2, flex 3. Shoot, if you want to get crazy and put both your Cleveland guys at RB1, RB2 and flex somebody else, I think you have the option. I love it. I like the trade just like that. What do you think there, Mike? Hello.
She doesn't know that I made a trade yet.
Oh!
What?
What did you do?
You'll have to watch the show.
Yeah, watch the show.
You didn't have your co-owner's approval?
No, not co-owner.
Not co-owner. Don't say that.
He's the owner and Mike is the GM.
Don't give her any ideas, though.
Just like Evan and
Hi,
Brandon.
Anna.
Brandon is the owner and Mike and Evan is the GM. Go ahead.
But anyway, back to Kareem Hunt. Like, I agree. I think this is probably my favorite of all the trades for both sides. I think the biggest thing, like Sean said, if you're the Chubb owner, you want Kareem Hunt because he's not just a handcuff. Chubb, I don't think I can say that.
Sounds like a bad porno title.
I don't think I could say that.
But if you have Nick Chubb, you want Kareem Hunt because you, like you said, he's not just a handcuff. You can start both of them and be perfectly fine. But and I like it on your side, Mark, is the third pick. Like we were talking, it's a toss up on which running back you take there. So you're probably going to get one of those two.
Nope, you're wrong. Okay, continue.
So yeah, I think
Sean's lecture.
It wasn't as much of a lecture as it was words of wisdom. All right.
Okay.
But yeah, I like I said, I think this is my favorite one for both sides. I think it makes a lot of sense for both of you guys. I think we're going to see Aaron deep in the playoffs this year again.
Yeah, it's funny. I traded Ian for Kareem Hunt, and the ink wasn't even dry on that contract when Aaron hit me up. Hey man, you want to trade Hunt? You interested in moving Hunt? Yeah. At the time, I was like, I don't think I want to give him Hunt because he's got Chubb and he's already good, and why am I going to give him a piece that's going to, maybe put him over the top? But I was looking at some other things actually, and it just kind of hit me. I was like, hey, you know what? If I put a couple of pieces with this, he may give up that 103. And I was the same. I felt like, Hunt was more valuable to him and that 103 was more valuable to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I threw it out to him and he accepted it within, it didn't even take him 30 minutes. I don't think. He said he wanted to see what he might do with that pick 21.
Which was A-bomb code for I'm just going to figure out who I'm going to draft in that 21.
Yeah, he wanted to probably went and did a few mock drafts, in that 30 minutes, and then he came back and said, "Yeah, man, I'll take that." So
texted Mal Kiper, been like, "Hey, what can I do at this round?"
And I like the extending it to 2022 as well for Aaron. I'm just kind of pushing that out. Just 1 year in the second round is going to be nice for him.
Yeah, he's definitely in win now mode. Obviously, with that 2 first-round picks for Adams. I think pushing out the 2022 is a smart move.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to blow it up, if it doesn't work out.
Yeah, I like it for both sides. That one came out even on my calculator. It was within 44 points, and which was within the 5%. And so it was a nice green fair trade on my Dynasty 101 calculator. So,
All right, Marky Mark, pat yourself on the back someplace else. Let's go to the next.
because sometimes you just got to walk away from the table. So, all right, let's move on to our fourth trade. That was our buddy Mike. Frank's Beauties received Cortland Sutton and Silly Dilly, the real Slim Brady. He received Henry Ruggs, straight up Sutton for Ruggs. Mike, we'll let you start off since this was your trade.
I think it's the greatest trade that was made today. It could have been it could have been top 5 of all time in the league, possibly.
Top 5. Okay.
If I do say so myself.
But I wasn't quite ready to give up on Ruggs, although I recognized, that he was a good trade piece to try to move. I wanted running back depth. I believe I closed last show with that I needed running back depth.
You may have mentioned that.
That may have been said.
So I did throw Ruggs around, on a few offers to get some running backs, but Sean probably knows a few of those.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I heard something about Chris Carson being moved.
Oh, no, Chris Carson plays in Seattle. We're talking about anyway. But I wasn't quite ready to give up on Ruggs. I think that his first season was right on the cusp of, I think he'll be fine. But I'm fairly high in Sutton. Tough injury to come back from, but I think, if you go back to last season, he was a guy you can put in, forget about it. He was borderline wide receiver 1. The worst case scenario, if Sutton turns out to be Ruggs, I had Ruggs anyway, but chasing a little upside with him.
So I got a question about what you think. What do you think about having multiple people on the same team? You have Gordon and Sutton now on Denver. Also, my question number 2 is, what do you think they're going to do at the quarterback position? How did that affect you going after Sutton? What's that going to do for his value going into the future?
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about the Denver quarterback, and all you can do is hope that it gets better. And Sutton,
it can't get any worse.
Yeah, well, that's the point. It can't get any worse. And Sutton was borderline wide receiver 1 with some questionable quarterback play. So you bring in, none of these guys like Wilson or Watson are rumored to be going there. But you got to figure that they're going to improve that situation. They pretty much told Drew Lock he's not coming back already anyway. So, like you said, can't get much worse. I know Mark's a little higher on Drew Lock, if I remember right, than we both are. But I think that if they bring somebody in, it'll be better for Sutton. But
let me throw this out there, Sutton owner. What about Teddy Bridgewater going to Denver?
Yeah, I know they basically told him the same thing in North Carolina, that you're basically not really welcome back here all the way. Yeah. But so that would be kind of interesting. It depends on how much Elway is actually involved in some of these decisions. He says he's not, but
we can just assume he's 100% in all these transactions.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mark and Mark? What are your thoughts?
Well, Mike's right. My praise for Drew Lock is well documented. So, I'm not a.
You gotta walk away from the table.
Why did I become Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Give yourself too much credit.
No, I thought the voice sounded like Schwarzenegger. Anyway, I'm not a big believer in Lock. I think they're going to do something. They talked about Dalton coming in to maybe push him for the starting job, and maybe moving up in the draft. They could maybe stay put and get a guy like Trey Lance. So, regardless, Sutton is just good. He's just really good, and he's done it with some bad quarterback play and any little upgrade over Lock, and I think it's a really good trade for Mike. Ruggs, I'm not as high on, but mainly because of, I don't know why Las Vegas picked him. I mean, they didn't utilize him like they really should. if he'd have gone to a team that, say, like a Peyton or a McVay or somebody that's a little bit more of a savant, offensive savant, I think Ruggs could have been rookie of the year, but Las Vegas picks him. No, I'm telling you, I mean, you got to use them. You got to use them the right way. Las Vegas gets them, and they just go routes. Just go routes. He's a guy.
It's crazy that he was the first wide receiver off the board in the NFL draft, and then that's what happened to him. Yeah,
no, you get the ball in his hands, and you let him make plays, and you don't just send him on go routes. So when he was able to get those go routes, he made some smash plays, but it was it was just too inconsistent. So. There's a lot of upside there, but I don't know if it's there in Las Vegas or with Carr. I don't know if maybe another quarterback comes in there, which has been rumored too. Then maybe he gets a bump. So it's not a horrible trade. I feel like it was. I would have, if I was trading for Ruggs, I would have tried to get a little bit something more if I was giving away something. But I think Dylan was taking a shot on Ruggs reaching that potential that's there.
I think the biggest issue with the Raiders in general is identity on offense. Are they going to be a run team like the Titans, where everything is ran through the run game? Derrick Henry is just a monster, or are they going to be a throwing team like Buffalo? You know what I mean? Like, I bet that'd be a close analogy. Because, I mean, you got Stephon Diggs and you got Ruggs. They're both pretty – if Ruggs is used right, like you were saying, Marky Mark, I think he could be a very valuable piece in a slant like a Godwin or a go route like he does already. He's already proven that he's pretty good at go route. So I think the biggest thing with the Raiders is that their identity on offense needs to be more honed in. And I think that would benefit the key players – exponentially, if that's my boy Josh Jacobs in the run game or the pass game with Ruggs or Aguilar or what have you. I think just the identity of the Raiders offense is very up in question.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be any kind of clear direction there. It seems to change game to game.
And you got to figure, like you said, if they figure out Ruggs, that's some serious upside. So. But I think the show here was pretty high on some Raiders wide receivers going into the season, and not anymore, it seems like. I don't even know where Bryan Edwards is. He's probably being traded literally right now.
Right this second for the 19th time in 1 year. Got it.
Yeah. And you just reminded me, they brought in Raiders drafted Lynn Bowden and traded him before he ever played a snap for him. And so when you're talking about no direction on offense, it's like, yeah, we want this guy. Yeah, well, not so
maybe
much.
Not.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know what's going on there, but
they have 7 or 8 years left with Gruden to figure it out. 7 years.
Oh yeah, and he owns a percentage of the team. No big deal.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. So, all right, let's move on to the last trade on our docket here. And again, Dylan, man, he jumped right into this thing. He said he was going to trade. He was serious, man.
You can tell when Dylan got off work today.
All right, so we have Dylan, the silly. Oh no, he's not silly. Silly Dilly, the real Slim Brady. Okay, he received Dalton Schultz, pick 24 in 2021 draft, and pick number 8 in the 2021 draft. The Underdogs received in return Curtis Samuel and a 2022 first-round pick. Who wants to start us off?
Mike, you can go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah.
We picked on Sean enough.
This one, I kind of had to look at this one for quite a while to see what I really thought about it. And honestly, it's still not quite all the way sure. But if I had to pick a side that I would prefer, I would probably pick the underdog side on this one. I'm going to assume it was Brandon maybe that made it. I don't know. But I think we joke around about Curtis Samuel, in this league, but solid wide receiver there. And then at one point in this draft, the Underdogs had 5 first-round picks, and now they don't have all 5 anymore, but suddenly they've got 2 in 2022. So we're talking about how young and good they're going to be this year, and now they're already thinking about 2022, and they've got, 2. That's pretty good move in there, I think.
Yeah.
I think Dalton Schultz, Dallas sure does love their, big white, slow moving tight ends, but we'll see what they come out with, in their offensive identity after all's said and done there. But yeah, and Silly gets into the first round. I guess, I like it for everybody now that I really talk about it. Everybody wins here.
I think you hit the nail on the coffin there, Mike. 2022.
It's called a malaphor. If you didn't know that, when you combine 2 idioms, it's a malaphor.
Yeah.
Well, I'll malaphor all over everywhere.
Bunch of malaphors. Continue, Sean. Please.
Well, I'll get back to my
he hit
point.
the nail on the coffin. He hit the nail on the
nail
coffin.
on the coffin there, bub. All right. So I love the fact that you brought up the 2022 draft class and that the underdogs are already going after them. And that one piece is what makes me think that the underdogs won this trade. Because this trade, when I initially looked at it, I was like, all right, this looks pretty good. I mean, Curtis Samuel for a tight end and a third might be a little stretching it. Curtis Samuel's a lot better than any tight end that Dallas is going to have, unless his last name is Clark. But then they get into the first round, and you never know what you're going to get in the first round, especially at 8. Justin Jefferson was drafted at 7. Boom, got it. And but underdogs they're already thinking 2022. I mean, that's a pretty bold move.
Yeah, it does seem like a futures deal. Samuel's probably not with Carolina next year. And a lot of times when a wide receiver changes teams, it takes them till that second year to develop the chemistry. So he who knows what it's going to look like for him next year. They probably wanted that 2022 first more than anything. Samuel's worth a flyer on. Who knows if he goes to a good offensive-minded scheme, then maybe he gets some usage this year. Maybe they get the ball in his hands, and it's not like the typical wide receiver moving to another team. Dalton Schultz, he's a solid guy. I think that Jarwin's going to be back, and I feel like they may split time a little bit. The one thing Schultz has over Jarwin is a draft capital because he went in the 4th round. Jarwin was a undrafted free agent. So, but I kind of feel like they're the same guy, and they might just split time a little bit. But Schultz might be, if one of them, if Jarwin wants to go down again for any reason, then Schultz could have another good season. But nothing great there. But he got that pick number 8 this year, and we got a really deep wide receiver class. If I was picking 8, I'd be looking at a wide receiver there most likely. Maybe you could even look at a quarterback there, depending on how the draft shakes out. Got him pick 24 as well. So he's got 8 picks now in the draft. So he's definitely going to be a player in this draft, and it'd be a good chance for him to kind of restock and reload and start to strengthen that roster moving forward. So it's not a bad trade at all. There's not a big difference in the points here. Nothing that I think is worth really pointing out. So I wouldn't have walked away from the table on this one.
Well,
you can lead a horse to the table, but you can't make it walk away.
Yeah.
Put the nail in that coffin there, bud.
The nail. You hit the nail on the coffin, that's for sure. Oh man. Well, that's all of our trades. I think that pretty well covers everything. Nice week for that. Well, I say nice week. It's, like you said, Mike, 48 hours. We had all these trades going on. So kind of neat to see that going on.
Let's do it again. Let's get some more going.
Yeah, let's have another 5 trade show next week. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I couldn't have said it better, my boys. Friggin', let's get those trades in. let's send first round picks towards that Airgate guy. He seems real cool. All right. Come back next week. We'll have our picks and drafts. See if we get some more trades in here, and we'll see what Marky Mark wants to do with that third round pick. Oh, yeah.
Pick 3.
Ian, you suck.